Welcome back. This is Homeless Song Sage, and I'm going to be talking about this post that I read in Reddit, and it says, I'm 29 and just realized I have no idea what I actually want out of life. This is a constant thing that humans deal with, especially around the 20 to 30 age range. Um, It's not quite a midlife crisis, but I feel like over the years it's getting closer to younger people having some sort of crisis. Um, and it's a very difficult thing to deal with. What do we what should we be pursuing? And on the greater scale, if we take it philosophically, looking at the greatest minds alive like Dostoevsky and Kierkegaard and um, in Nietzsche, um, what is meaning? What is what in life is worth fighting for? Because essentially, most of life is a struggle. It's a battle, and you're gonna bleed and you're gonna suffer, and only after that will you receive some sort of reward. And so you want to make sure that your efforts are worth it. If you're going to go plow the field, you want to make sure that you're going to yield the right crops, crops that will grow and be actually worth your time. The Bible talks about reaping what you sow. Uh, you can say what you want about the Bible, but it does have a lot of wise things to say, a lot of wisdom. If you look at the Proverbs, it tells you how to live your life a certain way. Um, now, I'll say that the image that I have in the background here is kind of inspired by Lucifer, although Lucifer isn't the staple of this channel or of me, but I do play around with just him as an idea because he's a fallen angel and it's about rebellion, but it's about also he wasn't able to be his greatest self, or maybe he was, but and maybe you could, I guess the argument would be either God wouldn't allow him to be as good as God because God wants that only for himself, or God um, stopped him uh, from doing something wrong that literally wasn't for him. It wasn't his. You could call that a lust for power. Um, but so I'm getting off topic here, but I just wanted to say that. So, and he kind of embodies a sense of failure, because he wanted something and he couldn't achieve it, and so he plummeted to the earth. And so we want to avoid that. We want to avoid the Luciferian drop to earth. Um, but okay, so how do we make sure that we don't uh, crash and burn? That the pride doesn't fall, and how do we also find what path to take, the correct one? So how do we find a path that will lead us where we want to go, and how do we find a path that won't crumble? First, I want to say that uh, to this person who asked the question, you don't have it figured out, and they don't have it figured out. They, as in people who, I think they mentioned that it looks like they know exactly what they're doing. It looks like they're not even concerned about it. Um, say no one has it figured out, nobody, because at the bottom, uh, uh, at the end of the road, death awaits us all. It's a terrible reality, and I've spent my life, the greater part of my life, trying to wrap my mind around the idea of death and try to defeat it. I want to defeat death. It's a lofty, narcissistic sort of goal, I guess you could say, because it's all based around like what can I do to defeat the greatest evil, which is death. There's no way I can do that, but I believe in it, so I can't quit. So I have to figure out a way. Um, and but I can't figure it out. So most people don't have it figured out. And statistically, 67% think about meaning. They contemplate it, at least in the West. If that statistic is wrong, you can correct me. Uh, but but do they actually stop and think about it and orient their life towards it, or is it just kind of like they're out and about and they'll stop and they'll think like, wow, life isn't really what I want it to be. I wish it was better than this. I wish it felt more meaningful. I mean, so 67% can't think about that, but do they actually, you know, sit in the thick of it? Do they actually sit in the weeds and try to make it more meaningful? I'm not sure about that. Um, and and so the point is that you know nobody has it figured out. Nobody does. Um, the ones that quote unquote do have it figured out, they're successful, and this is a one idea is that um, you can tie meaning to success. So like achievable goals. Um, and so the ones that do have it figured out, how did they get there? Um, how did they know what to do? Well, we can look at it feelings based. That's one option. And what is feelings based decision making? Well, it's they were inspired to do something and they never gave up. So let's say someone wanted to play hockey their whole life, like when they were really young. And I'm talking about some of the first uh, inceptive stages of um, um, being inspired. So they watch a hockey game when they're like 10 years old, and then they're like, you know what, I'm going to grow up and be a hockey player. So they go to tryouts and they skate a lot and they keep at it, and they do this for years. And eventually, they play on a good team and they're a hockey player. Or there's business people, they're like selling stuff when they're young and they're just into business. And so then they know exactly what their degree is going to be and they go for it. And so once you do that, you start to have success. And like I said, success correlates with meaning, especially in a sort of placebo effect sort of way. So that's important. Hold on to that idea, placebo, uh, a placebo effect, which is essentially um, you think you have a result, but it's actually not real. It's more mental. Um, because is the is the success, does it equal meaning, or does it just equal positive emotion? Um, but at the end of the day, because we all die, it doesn't really matter. You have to find a direction and stick with it. Um, we also know, based on research, that one pointedness, which means focusing on one thing, and also based on research, having a goal, having a purpose, is is one of the most important things you can have in your life. So like hockey, you stick to hockey and you never give up on it. Uh, and they don't jump around to different things. They're like, I'm going to do this and I'm not going to do other things. So for this person that is 28 and is, confused about what do they do, they feel lost. Well, my advice would be two things to start. First of all, Go back to the earliest thing that inspired you. What is the earliest thing that inspired you? And I'm going to bet you that it still inspires you to this day. I bet deep down you still love this thing, even if you've kind of put the fire out. Um, and I would say, if possible, keep chasing that thing. Chase that thing, first of all. It's important because we work on our brain works in memories. So the stored memories, it set a goal when it was inspired. Even unconsciously, it says, "Here's I want to be a hockey player." But let's say you get caught up in schoolwork, and you never practice or anything. Well, your brain remembers, even subconsciously, unconsciously, that you wanted to be a hockey player, and so you carry around this baggage when you get older, like, oh, I was never a hockey player. It it eats at you even if you don't realize it. Now, hockey player is one example, because once you get older, maybe you can't do that. But maybe you can be around hockey. Maybe you can be a coach. And if you're like, I'd rather just play, but you can't because you're older, then think of the next. So, second piece of advice: if you can't figure out the very first uh, uh, inspired moment, then try and list out 3 or 4 or 5 inspired moments, and choose the one that resonates with you. So choose the inspired moment that resonates with you the most. Um, my other piece of advice. So point 3, you should create. You should make content. You should make YouTube videos, Instagram, or it doesn't even have to be social, but make sure you share it with other people. That's the main point. Share your content with other people. Okay, why should you do this? Because this means that you have to be the authority, because you're telling someone something, uh, whether that's about what you're dealing with, which you're the authority on what you're dealing with, or if it's about just a subject matter. You're the teacher, so people consume content to uh, either be entertained or to learn something. And so because of that, you have to be the authority. You have to be the one on the stage, uh, sharing with people. And so why should you do this? Why does it matter? Okay, well, this gives you power. This and Power is one of the most wanted things in the human experience. Everybody wants power: the power to not be sick, the power to be financially taken care of, the power to be happy, the power to um, be in a good relationship, the power to lead. So it gives you power, it gives you confidence, which is related to power. Confidence means you know where to steer your ship, you know where you're going, you know what you're doing, and this destroys doubt, which is the antithesis to faith, and it destroys fear uh, and hesitation. And who wants to be hesitated and living in anxiety? So if you're, bed rotting and you're just sick and not knowing what to do, um, create um, something related to that which inspired you in the very beginning. And this helps me. This has been helping me. It helps me get off the floor, get off from just sitting around, and it creates meaning. So I'm working backwards here. Okay, you get power by creating something that you were first inspired by. And this provides meaning, and this gives you direction on what to do. Um, but what does it also give you? It also gives you endurance um, to keep going in life, because life is so difficult, life is so painful. Um, but if you have this, okay, you can say, well, today's a bad day, but I have this thing and I'm not giving up. So it's like, okay, today it was storming while we're sailing the ship, but we're still on the course to the Fountain of Youth. We're still on the course to El Dorado, the city of gold. So that's endurance, and that keeps you, gives you direction constantly. Endurance is equal to constant direction. Um, what else does it give you? It gives you wisdom, and it gives you intelligence. Um, so the more you learn, the wiser you become, and the more things you learn. Um, and this has endless amounts of uh, benefit to your life. Wisdom is the most important um, commodity that you could carry with you. It's incredibly important. It can teach you exactly what you need to know. Um, and so I just want to end on this and say, if you're lost, if you're looking for direction, if you don't know what to do, this is the advice, and I'll work it backwards one more time. If you uh, want intelligence, wisdom, endurance, confidence, power, then you should be creating something. And what should you create? You should create that which first inspired you or inspires you now if you have a new inspiration. Um, and this will give you meaning because it will correlate to success. Because if you want to create something and you do, then you were successful in your direction. You created something. That means you were successful. You followed through with it, even if no one likes it or looks at it. You created it, so that's success. Um, and this gives you meaning, and this gives you direction, and this destroys the idea that you don't know what to do with your life. So this is Homeless Song Sage. I hope you like this video, and if so, then I'll do more of them. I hate to say this, but just to help, if you could like, comment, subscribe, that would really help. But I offer one-on-one. If you need advice and direction, I work from a mythological, a philosophical, and psychological landscape, and that I introduce that in every thing that I'm working with, every idea I'm working with. That's my framing. And yeah, I also have a book on OCD. If you're interested in that, hit me up. And you can find me at _J0RDNN_ on Threads. And I write poetry as well, and I make music. But I hope you like this, and I'll see you in the next one.